loud.
So having an efficient, attractive subway system makes good economic sense. So the city needs to purchase new subway cars since the city should always do what makes good economic sense.
Awesome. All right. So argument or set of facts?
Well, it's an argument.
Yep. So what's our conclusion?
The conclusion is like starting from so it says the city needs to purchase new subway cars.
Yes. And then since introduces a premise, right?
Yep.
Yep. And so why are they saying that the city needs to purchase new subway cars?
Well, because the city should always do what makes good economic sense, and an efficient, attractive subway system makes good economic sense.
Okay. So where is the
Yeah.
gap between our support and our conclusion? Like what new term does our conclusion bring in?
So for me, like that was like the new subway cars.
Yeah.
What like what I would think the answer would be was just like new subway cars, something about new subway cars making good economic sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes, that would work. New
yeah.
subway cars equals good economic sense. Or what is the variable in the first one that, like, where do you think most people get tripped up on this question? What do they assume is the same thing?
The efficient, attractive subway system.
Yes.
Hmm.
So how could we connect new subway cars to the efficient, attractive subway system?
Um, so I guess we would put like the efficient and attractive system. So anything that's efficient and attractive is like I think like the link between the efficient and attractive and the new subway cars, right?
Yeah, but what should we how could we connect them? Like what premise could we say?
Um,
Efficient, attractive subway systems, what?
so efficient, attractive subway system makes a good economic sense. And then new subway cars are efficient and attractive.
Okay,
So
it's way simpler. So,
yeah.
like, what if we said efficient, attractive subway systems must have new subway cars in order, or a subway system must have new subway cars in order to be efficient and attractive,
Hmm.
or something like that? Would that connect it?
Um, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're connecting, like, what does new subway cars have anything to do with having an efficient, attractive subway system, right? Like,
Yeah.
why do we need new subway cars? Like, could we potentially, right now I'm looking at this, I'm like, well, couldn't we have an efficient, attractive subway system without new subway cars?
We could.
We
Right.
could, but they're trying to tell us that we need new subway cars. So, what must
Hmm.
be true of these new subway cars for them to make economic sense?
Well, they need to be efficient and attractive, right?
Yeah, they have to fit into that, right? Somehow.
Hmm. Yeah.
Right. So, what kind of question is this?
Sufficient assumption.
Yeah, how do you know that?
The logically if.
Yep, if and assumed. Excellent. So,
Yeah.
what's our goal of a sufficient assumption question?
We have to make the argument like airtight,
Yeah,
pretty
we
much.
guarantee the conclusion, right?
Guarantee the conclusion. Yeah.
So I consider these questions like super strengthened questions, right? We get to bring in new
Yeah.
information. And so we kind of predicted like we need to either say that new subway cars systems always make good economic sense, or
Hmm.
efficient, attractive subway systems need to have new subway cars or something like that.
Hmm.
All right, so go ahead and
Yeah.
start with A.
So he says the city should invest in an efficient, attractive subway system. Um, I guess like that's kind of um like doesn't tie in the good economic sense portion of it. Um, so I
So is should a strong word?
yeah, it's like very
Okay,
prescriptive.
so clearly, you would just have very high integrity, and you're like, yeah, if I say I should do something, I'm going to do it. But
Hmm.
unfortunately, in law, should doesn't mean anything, right? Like, I should work out and eat healthy, but I don't all the time. Like,
Hmm.
so should is actually very mild.
Okay.
So just because you should do something, so the city should invest in efficient, attractive subway systems. does that
Mm,
guarantee, just because we should invest in this thing, does that guarantee that we should have new subway cars?
no.
Okay, so let's go ahead and skip this one and go on to B.
Okay. Cost-effective subway cars an integral part of an efficient subway system. Like that kind of seemed like irrelevant to me. Like when we take the conclusion into account, just because like we're not really talking about cost-effective.
Yeah, like cost, we're saying we need new subway cars. It's like we don't know that our new subway cars are cost effective or not, right?
Yeah.
So if we changed our if we, how could we change our stimulus to make B the right answer?
Um. So the new subway cars are cost-effective.
Yeah, or you say the city needs to purchase cost effective subway cars. Is that what you said?
No, but that makes sense.
Okay, sorry, I was reading the next answer choice as you were saying that. So yeah,
Hmm.
excellent. So go ahead and read C.
Investment in new subway cars makes better economic sense than many of the other investment options open to city. That's like very comparative. Like the stimulus was very absolute, and see some kind of it's kind of like a
Yes,
relative
this
thing.
is, yes, yeah. Oh, excellent. This is my
Yeah,
favorite flaw, relative versus
yeah,
absolute. Just because something makes better sense doesn't make it good, right?
yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get, I'm not, I don't mean this as like political stances, but a lot of people for this political election, right, said like, well, this option's better than the other option, right? But nobody
Hmm.
really loved either option. Some people did, but
Yeah,
just because something's better than the other doesn't make it good.
right.
And so just because we're investing in this is better than, is better economically than these other things, than many of the other things, still doesn't make it economically sensible.
Hmm. Yeah, so C doesn't make sense.
Awesome.
Um, and then
D.
I actually chose D. I'm not 100% sure as to why it's wrong still. Um, so it says knee subway cars are financially affordable. I know that's not like the prephrase that we made, but like doesn't isn't financially affordable still like doesn't that
No,
still mean good economic sense?
just because something's affordable doesn't mean that, like, oh, this vacation to Hawaii is affordable, but that
Mm,
doesn't mean that it makes good economical sense for me to go, right?
yeah,
Couldn't there be something else that I should do to invest my money that could be make more economic sense, even though I could
true,
financially afford it?
true.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
All right, so let's,
Yeah, just that like distinction kind of like messed with me a little bit. Um,
we'll continue to work on your criticalness then. So it's like,
okay.
is always assume, unless you're crossing off like every single answer choices, which this doesn't happen very often. There's
Mm,
um where if it brings in like new terminology like financially affordable and we're talking about economic sense, just on your mind, always do critical and be like, that's not the same thing, that's not the same thing, that's not the same thing. And then if you have to offer grace to an answer choice, do it after you cross them all off.
okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're going to be overly critical and then we might back it up a little bit as we go.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So
Um,
E.
so E says new subway cars are required in order for the city to have a subway system that is efficient and attractive. That makes sense because
Yeah,
that's
why?
so that's just tying in the efficient and attractive. So it's saying that the subway cars are efficient and attractive, and then the efficient and attractive they are. So if you're efficient and attractive, then you make good economic sense, and
Yeah,
which makes sense because that just says the city needs to purchase new subway cars.
yeah, excellent. Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. A lot of people don't like this answer choice because of the word required, and they're like, "Well, this is a necessary assumption." And I was
Yeah.
like, "No, it's actually not." We're like,
Just a
newspapers
condition,
are
right?
required. Yes, excellent.
Yeah.
Perfect. So how do you feel about this? And then back to A. Do you see why this one is wrong where should is just too mild?
Yeah.
Now, even I was gonna say like A might be a strengthener, but even then, what even why would A still not be a great answer for a strengthen question?
I just don't think like in general, I just don't like A because it just doesn't like it doesn't even talk about the new subway cars.
Yes, excellent. It's still just as talking about this efficient, attractive subway system. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, but why can't we have that without new subway cars?
yeah.
Excellent.